the other thing I just wanted to talk about very briefly as well is that you all did very, very well for 20 minutes. It's very good. Most of you aren't frowning, but there's a couple of you that I can see doing this. You know, so if you're frowning, it means you're tense. Relax, relax, relax. Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. You know, so don't frown. Be very, even during the course of the meditation, be very conscious of relaxing those muscles around your eyes and your mouth. If you're pursing your lips, like this, you know, if you're doing that, then that means you're also tense. Any tension in your face will go down into your neck, into your shoulders. So it will make the meditation posture much more uncomfortable. So during the course of the meditation, just be very aware of these muscles. You all need to go to bed a bit earlier. You're all looking a bit sleepy. You know, in Buddhism, like when you do retreat, it's the early morning meditation where you're going to attain realizations. You've got to get used to getting up early. So it's actually like when you're in retreat, usually you get up at 3:30. 3:30 and you start your session at 4. If you start at 4, it's actually a bit late, but you get up at 3:30. But it's said that the time that you're going to attain, the time that you are at your best, is actually the early part, before the dawn. So before the dusk, before the dawn. So before the sun starts to rise. And this is the time when you're likely to attain realizations. You know, give yourself a bit of a slap around the face. Wake up. Yep. All right. So you've got to have enough tension in your body that you're not flopping and, you know, going to sleep, but not so much tension that it's, you know, causing you aggravation. So it's finding this balance between maintaining the posture and having enough tension that you're maintaining the posture, but not so much tension that it's actually a distraction. Okay. So you've got to find this balance between tension and relaxation. So you have to keep sort of practicing and testing it and stuff. All right, so this next meditation that we're going to do is this meditation that we did yesterday, this relaxing in awareness. And the reason this is very important, at least from a Buddhist perspective, and probably even, you know, from a stress perspective, so even if you're not interested in attaining the mind of enlightenment, this is a good meditation just to stop doing. Because we're always doing something inside our mind, you know? We're always engaging with our thoughts. We're always engaging with our emotions. We're always engaging with senses. You know, our mind is just never quiet and still. And even when we're focusing on the breath, we're still doing something. You know, we're concentrating on the breath. So the purpose of this resting in awareness, this what they call the kusalu type of meditation, is about trying to just get a sense of this state of mind that just knows. The state of mind that doesn't need to do anything. Whatever arises out of the mind, because everything arises out of the mind. Our thoughts arise out of the mind. Our emotions arise out of the mind. Sensory perceptions arise out of the mind. Everything comes out of the mind. Nothing doesn't come out of the mind. But if we can develop this ability to just be aware of that happening, rather than always wanting to play with what's arising out of the mind. You know, so just be aware of the thought arising and dissolving. Neither accept nor reject the thought, neither follow nor let go, but just have this awareness without even observing. You just know, you know, so you don't need to do anything. Okay? This is the hardest meditation. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be the hardest. But this is the hardest meditation, to try and just not do anything, just rest in the present moment, in this state of awareness. All right, let's try it for 10 minutes. So once again, being very, very conscious of posture, you need to sit in posture. However, if you need to move, you're feeling discomfort, then please move and come back to the meditation rather than the object of your meditation becoming your discomfort. So at this point, I don't want that to be the case. So if you're uncomfortable, then don't worry about moving. You're not going to disturb anybody. So just move and then come back into the meditation. So just for a moment or two first, just bring your concentration to your breathing, just so that you can settle the mind down. And now just rest your mind in its natural awareness. In resting your mind in this natural awareness, there is nothing to do. There is nothing to accept or reject. There is no need to follow or let go. Just be aware of the movement of the mind. Just be aware of that movement arising and dissolving. As thoughts arise, neither follow nor let go. Just be aware of them arising and dissolving. As emotions arise, there is no need to follow or let go. Just be aware of their arising and dissolving. Sensory perceptions arise, neither follow nor let go, just allow them to dissolve. There's no need to do anything except rest in the natural awareness of the mind. Just allow your mind to be vast, spacious, clear, like space. And just immerse yourself in that experience of awareness. There is nothing to accept or reject. Just rest in the present moment in the natural, open, spacious awareness of the mind.
So when the thoughts arise, are they allowed to stay as long as they want, or we just have to?
Well, yes, they can stay as long as they want, but if you're not following them, they'll stay for this long. The only reason they stay longer than a heartbeat is because you're actually you're engaging with them. So whether that's you're observing them or you're actually following them, but if you're not doing anything, they just come and go, come and go, come and go, come and go. Yep, yep.
I don't really get the difference between letting go of the thought and letting it dissolve.
Because when you're letting go of the thought, you're doing something. If you're just... That's why this is a difficult meditation. Because, the way the mind works, it's like a cloud moving across the sky. We might talk, maybe in the next session, we'll talk much more about the nature of mind. So if you look at the mind as like the sky, like the vastness of space, which is why we often use this, analogy or metaphor of space, because you can't touch space. You can't touch it. There is no beginning, there is no end, and the clouds just move across. In fact, sometimes if you actually watch clouds, you can see the clouds appear and you can see the clouds dissolve back in. You're not doing anything with the clouds. Like the sky's not doing anything with the clouds just naturally. But when we're letting go, we're doing that as a deliberate action. It's a dualistic activity. So when you're letting go, you're actually, somewhere consciously saying I'm not going to engage with it. I'm not going to, and I'm going to even, sometimes I'm actually going to take that thought and I'm going to let it go. Whereas when you're just sitting in awareness, you're not doing anything. It's like the cloud arising and dissolving back into the sky. The sky doesn't do anything. The cloud just naturally comes and goes. It's difficult.
No, that's a very good explanation.
Yes.
So is this different from just
Yes, I mean, because when we're vegging out,
What is that?
when we're sort of like, what else would we call it? Huh? Sort of like being lazy, yeah, I guess. Or when you're just, you're just staring out at the plains blankly. No, it's not like that. Because when you start to get this sense of this awareness, what you're starting to understand is the difference between distraction and non-distraction. So by developing this capacity to rest in awareness, it's a completely non-distracted state. Whereas even if you're just gazing out, like daydreaming, that's not non-distraction. Daydreaming is necessarily distraction, and blankness isn't what we're trying to achieve. Blankness is not, this state of awareness is that there is a knowingness. It's what we call clear and knowing. So there's a knowingness. But when you're just daydreaming, or if you're just blank, then there's nothing. That's nihilistic. We're not trying to get a point of nothingness. That's a nihilistic position. We're not doing that. We're trying to get a sense of this awareness. Because what we want to do is realize emptiness. And it's only through this state of awareness that we will ever do that. So even if you're daydreaming, there's still some cognitive process happening. Still some cognition, and it's still dualistic. Blankness is this sort of nothingness. There's also still an element of duality in that. It's not a non-dualistic position. So what we're trying to do is get to a non-dual experience.
What did you call this meditation again?
It's resting in awareness is sort of a standard name. In Mahamudra, it's sort of called the Kusalu. The Kusalu is actually the person that does it. So it's sort of the meditation of the Kusalu. Resting in awareness, or it's a sort of a Dzogchen type of meditation, but it's a very Mahamudra Dzogchen style of meditation. I'll give you the name of a book, sort of at the end of the course, that really focuses on this sort of stuff. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. Beautiful book, yeah. Yep.
I find myself sort of narrating in the third person, as it were, kind of saying, yeah, this is great.
Yes. Yes.
But by doing that, I guess I'm engaging.
Yes, I mean, it's one of the most interesting things. We sort of develop this commentary. It's not uncommon. When I first started to meditate, it was my greatest challenge, was stopping this bloody commentary. So it's not that I was necessarily engaging with anything, I was commenting about everything. But again, it's just practice. You just let it go, let it dissolve, don't play, it's just ego. But it was one of the hardest things for me, was to stop this damn commentary all the time. I'd be commenting about everything, it was just bizarre. I mean, but it's not. I mean, when you think about it, this is what we're doing all day, every day, is we're creating commentary about something, which we then actively engage in, or we don't, but we're constantly having this commentary inside our mind. And yeah, it was one of my greatest difficulties, was starting to abandon this constant commentary, and I still, from time to time, it still definitely happens. But I'm better at, cutting it off and allowing it to disappear. So don't worry, that's really, 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 really common. But the key is, like all of these things, is try not to play. Because the instant that you play with it, you're getting better at it. It's like everything, this is why this is a really important meditation, because we have to stop engaging with everything. We've really got to try and start the process of getting better at doing nothing. Yes.
Sometimes during this meditation it felt like a thought arises and disappears after literally nanoseconds.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a good sign, or does it mean that I probably let go of the thought, which means that I did something which is not good?
highly unlikely that we'll stop thoughts arising. How often they arise is not relevant. Doesn't matter.
Yes, but if it disappears so quickly,
If what?
if it disappears so quickly,
Yeah, that's...
it's probably a sign that I actively let it go, which is not good.
No. I mean, if thoughts arise because that's what the mind does. That's what the mind does. The mind thinks. The mind engages with, everything comes out of the mind. We're not trying to get a blankness, so don't worry that thoughts are arising, just don't do anything with it. Just don't act on them. Don't even watch them. See, what you're doing is you're observing them. So in this meditation, you don't even observe them. It's difficult, but don't worry, it's okay. We'll hold the questions because we'll miss breakfast. It's breakfast time, so hold the questions and we'll come back and we'll talk more about this when we come back at 9 o'clock. Who's the bell ringer? Okay, excellent. So we'll be back here at 9 and we'll talk more about this nature of mind stuff.
I was thinking about